Don't you know? Don't you know? Don't you know?
Hi guys! Welcome back, or for first-time listeners, thanks for listening.
Welcome aboard.
I'm Raquel,
I'm Jake.
and this is
Don't You Know? Nailed it.
Yeah!
Today we have a guest speaker.
Mm-hmm.
I should have let you say that. You're the host.
Well, today we have a guest speaker. Why don't you introduce them?
This is Deanna. Welcome aboard. Hey.
Hello.
This
Hi.
is my girlfriend. Some of you might have known. She's also an expert on our topic today. Today we'll be talking about food. She's a
Part two.
culinary master and has a distinguished palate to go along.
Cool. So, do we want to do a quick update about what's going on in our lives? Because we
Yeah,
don't have any
sure.
updates for podcasts.
Oh, none? No countries or anything?
No. Oh, I did say, because this will be the end of the month, so the winner for most downloads is Georgia.
Whoop, whoop. Hey, check it out. We did it. We did it
Yeah.
for once. High five. Here, now I can get a high five and I don't have to high five myself. Which I can't because I'm broken.
He's that
Oh.
man.
Okay. So, do we want to do announcements? I mean, not announcements, updates.
Updates. Yeah, sure. What's going on with you? Hanging in there with the old quarantine?
So, what's going on with me? Let's see. Monday, I went on a hike. I hated it. And then the weekend before that, I went on a hike, and I hated that too.
That's right. I saw your snaps and I heard you got some soggy feet.
Yeah, so the one where I went to the Hollywood sign wasn't that bad. It hurt, it sucked, I hated it, but I felt very accomplished afterward.
Nice job. How was the view up there?
It was a view. I don't know. I guess I'm not that impressed with nature.
Unimpressed.
I still felt very accomplished. Last week's hike, the last hike I did, I was not happy. I stepped in the creek. I didn't want to cross the creek anyways. And we went to go see a waterfall. And I wasn't impressed with the waterfall. And it was just miserable. And I hated it. And my ankles hurt because there was rocks everywhere. And yeah.
Goodness. I don't mind some soggy feet when I'm hiking.
No, I don't like it.
No. It's not like if you're just going like not far to like a creek or whatever and you step in the creek or fall or whatever and you're wet. No big deal. When you're hiking,
You have to sit with it.
yeah, and you have to walk, and I'm glad I didn't end up with blisters.
Mhm.
So, and I think that's about it. Media-wise, I have now started The Originals.
Mm-hmm. The originals. What is
I
that?
have seen that before.
It's the spin-off for Vampire Diaries.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of line up at some point. They start the series while they're still recording Vampire Diaries.
But is it as good?
I'm sorry, I like The Originals more than I like Vampire Diaries. I don't even
What?
like Vampire Diaries.
I like the Vampire Diaries a little bit more. I didn't like the originals because that one actor just really always got me, but just something about the storyline. I do hate so much of the romance. I think it's kind of ridiculous, and the age difference is funny, but I don't know. Something about the Vampire Diaries always gets me more.
I thought you hadn't watched it, or was it that you wanted to rewatch it?
I wanted to rewatch it.
Oh, okay.
See, I saw Legacy first. I didn't know Legacy was a spin-off of The Originals. And so, Hope is the main character in Legacy. So as you can see, I have a more connection to the characters from The Originals than I do
Yeah.
of the... So I watched the Vampire Diaries, and I'm like, all you guys are stupid. I hate all you people.
I can see that, though. I really can see that because of how the characters are portrayed. It seems a little ridiculous, but I don't know. I like a little something about it. I don't know what it is. And I don't even like movies or TV shows that have high schoolers in them.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
I don't
stand
mind.
them
I
anymore.
like stuff like that.
I'm not in high school anymore. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to get through Stranger Things. Well, not hard to get through. It's a good show, but I was like,
Yeah,
They're
Oh.
middle schoolers,
That was-
though.
Yeah. That's just,
well,
that's
middle school
like
is even
it.
worse. I forgot that from even further away.
But that's like it, you know, they were young children going through, and like if you read the books, young children going through life, and they actually end up as adults within that series, and that's something you can take from it, you know, more so than it's just high school life. Oh, they're, you know, their life is horrible because they're in high school.
I think the biggest thing that just bugs me about it is just how, like, they get captured so many times, or they get tricked
I know.
out by a doppelganger so many times that you would think at some point this person was gone for 3 days, and then they come back like nothing happened, and we know that they have a doppelganger.
Or what about the a lot of neck snapping? That's like all they go to is, I don't want my brother to listen, so I'm going to snap his neck.
Snap.
That's all they do.
The perfect solution. You just snap the neck.
It's so ridiculous. I don't know why I like this.
But yeah, it just bothers me. I'm like, why are you know this person's coming after you. Why are you by yourself? Why? At least like with the original ones, the reason why they have like so many problems is just because they're horrible at communication with each other, and they have tons of like betrayal against each other, whereas Vampire Diaries is just because, oh, they were gone for 3 days, oh, they're back, that's great, and then they move on, and then they get like tricked because it's a doppelganger.
Yeah. But aren't they, in originals, they're all related?
Basically.
Yeah. That was the difference between them two, is like, the originals is like where they came from. That's where they stemmed.
Yeah. So, I'm almost done with the first season of originals. That's it.
Yeah, I haven't watched much of it.
Okay, and so that's what's going on with me media-wise.
Nice.
What about you, Jacob?
For me, not so much media-wise, but just updates. I hired a plumber today. That's a very adult thing to do, and I got my it was the washer drainage pipe cleared, so that's all good. I got laundry running right now. It's pretty nice, and I watched this guy. He was checking the sink, and he unscrewed the little nozzle and like cleaned it out. And he was like, "Oh, this was a little dirty. I cleaned it." I was like, "Oh, hey, thanks." And watching him do that, I was like, "Oh, wait. I mean, of course, obviously, I could just do that to my bathroom sink, which was just a little trickle of water." So I went over there and unscrewed it and took the thing apart, cleaned it off, and put it back in. And now I got a good old bathroom sink. So, and my laundry's running again. So very nice. That's what I got going on.
So how did you know that you had to call a plumber to fix your laundry thing versus just thinking it was the, oh, I see. Audience did not see what that was, though.
Okay, so step one is obviously Drano, so I tried that like any man would.
But you said the washer.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Yeah, the washer.
Why would you put Drano in the washer?
No, it's the washer drain lines. And so the water's coming out of the washing machine and going into the wall. But then there's a clog, and so it backs up out the wall and pours on the floor.
But how did you know that was the issue and not like your washer was broken?
Because there's a bunch of water coming out of the wall. There's a hose coming out, and it's just pouring water out big time.
Okay, that part
it's backing up to the wall.
Taking out water.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then.
The drainage
that makes sense. I was thinking like the washer just was like the washer just stayed full and wasn't like draining at all. I'm like, how did you know it was not the washer?
No, it's coming up out the wall. So I poured Drano down there, and then I went and got a snake, like this little like wind up wheel thing that you just put down. And that's plan A and plan B, and then when neither of those worked, it was just time to call a plumber. So did all I could. I'm a very DIY guy, but he had to bring in this big power thing that it's like the snake thing that I got, but instead of a little crank wind up wheel that's plastic that you get from Walmart, it's like a power drill. He goes, and he was drilling through that thing for like 2 hours today. So yeah, it was money well spent, and it was like $150 when all's said and done, which
it
was
going
worth it.
To the laundromat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's true. Does it though? Laundromat's like $5 to do laundry. We would have to go to the laundromat like
I've lived in an apartment complex where I had to go to the laundromat because I didn't have a washer and dryer, and it was $1.50 per load on washing or drying. So that's a crazy amount of money when you add it all up.
$5.
Because you have to separate things, and some loads are smaller than others, and it just added up.
Now you're paying for luxury there. I would do.
It's one of those kind of things that you fixed it now, so you don't have to worry about it later. But if you were to go to the laundromat for however long you're in that house, it would add up.
Yeah, but if you buy a washer and a dryer for $400, and then I just had to spend $150 on a plumber, so now I'm in like $650, and it's $5 for me to wash everything I own at a laundromat.
And you're not driving.
You're not driving. That's true. That is a good point. So gas.
You have to keep in mind that you're also having to deal. Like, you're not only washing your clothes, you're washing your sheets. You're washing.
Yeah, that's true.
You have other stuff that you're washing, and also you're saving time because in case of an emergency, you have something you can wash it right there that day.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely more of a convenience, but it was worth it. And now I can just like throw a single t-shirt in there and run it if I want, because it's mine.
Yeah.
It works. All right. That was a boring segment. Media. Not really doing too much. I tried 2 games of Apex the other night, and I was like, yeah, we're going to be the Apex Predators. It was me and Luke, and it didn't go well. Partly because I got a broken hand. I injured it. It's healing up. But I can't really hold a mouse that well, and I just wasn't really focused, and I just...
Excuses. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, excuses. I'm handicapped.
And I haven't been watching really any television because I just sit here and watch him play or not play, and we just talk and whatever.
Yeah.
But
We went down the river.
we did go down the river.
This weekend.
That's not media, but we did go down the river.
That's cool.
And it was nice and relaxing, but we only went for a short period of time because the weather ended up turning bad as soon as we were able to figure out where we were supposed to go on this river.
no.
We walked for like 45 minutes and then floated for maybe 30.
We walked. Ooh, we got our exercise in.
We got our steps.
And that was really good. And then we got to cool down afterwards. That's pretty much what happened.
And then we had to walk back to the car.
It was fun.
It was good. We had a good meal after. No, it was a fun weekend. So, all in all, not bad. Good stuff.
That's great.
That's all we got. Hey, that was a good segue. I said we got a good meal.
Okay, well, there's your segue. Okay, so obviously our topic's about food. And we have already done food before, so this is going to be part 2. So I listened to the last one, and this is what will be fine as long as we avoid talking about pizza, diet, and Teen Titans.
We're not allowed
So
to
that's
talk about
basically what
pizza.
the whole episode was about.
Okay, we're literally just talking with a muted mic about ordering a pizza, so to be here by the end of the podcast. But we won't bring it back up.
Okay, so we're gonna go into our topic now. What do we want to start off with? We want to do discussion, or don't you knows, or how do you want to start?
I don't know. Apparently my ideas aren't, well, sorry.
Maybe discussions first and then don't you know? Then we can kind of pull from that.
How about we start with discussions?
Sounds good. So we can start with the discussion that led me back to doing a part 2 for food.
Yeah, what got us on this? We haven't even kind of like intro the topic. I said it earlier on, but what brought us back to part 2?
So when we first did the part 1, it was kind of on the fly. We were very off topic because it was on the fly. And so I think I saw a TikTok or something like this, and it was about bread. And I started to think about it. I was like, you know what? We should go back for a part 2 for food. And so I had
Part 2, bread.
bread. All about bread. We talked about pizza last time, so now it's bread. So I had 3 kind of discussions in pertaining to bread. So the TikTok was about a normal person grabbing bread.
Okay.
And it was skipping the first piece and grabbing 2.
Are we talking about grabbing a loaf of bread from the shelf or grabbing a slice of bread from the loaf?
Slice of bread.
Okay.
And then it did a weird person, and they grabbed the very 2 first slices, including the end piece. And then it said psycho, and they reached all the way and grabbed 2 slices from the very middle.
I thought you were going to say they reach all the way to the end and grab the other crusty bit.
No. So that led me to think, I always skip the very first slice. Sometimes I might skip 1 or 2 slices, depending on how fresh the bread is, because the ender piece tend to be staler if it's not fresh loaf.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing you should do is grab the second piece as a normal human being, because you're going to make a sandwich or peanut butter or jelly or whatever. You're going to grab those pieces. And if you realize the bread is actually getting stale, a lot of people just throw the bread away. But I'm that type of person that, if I can find the fresh bits inside, I will. So the inner pieces are the best. And if the bread is fresh throughout the end, when you use all up and you only have the 2 outer pieces, peanut butter and jelly, all you have to do is grill a little bit with a little oil and stuff, and it's delicious.
Now, I usually toss those end bits when I get to the end.
I'm the same way. I never eat those end pieces.
But
I'll eat them sometimes. If it's a thick slice, I'll throw it on. I don't mind. I'll do one or the other. But
I'm like a cook, and so I try to use every bit of my ingredients that I can. If I can't use them, I want to dispose of them properly instead of just throwing them in the plastic bag and them not going to where they should go, back to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. I realized I only actually had 2 discussions for this. And so the second discussion I had for bread was crust. Because we talk about the end piece, about how people don't like, the end piece. So you have a lot of people who cut the crust off of sandwiches.
Not me.
I don't know.
Way too much work, and it
That's
doesn't
for
bother me at all.
children.
Yeah.
I just
And that's some
eat
good
it.
stuff for you, too. The crust, you know?
I feel like if you cut the crust off, like, no offense to anyone who does, but I feel like that's kind of like a little kid's way of eating a sandwich, is when you cut the crust off of it.
It really is. That is the child's way of eating a sandwich, because you're not only cutting the crust, but you're cutting off bits and pieces of the good bread too. You
Yeah.
might as well, that's like shaving a strawberry because you don't like the peel of it.
I will say, if I'm eating a sandwich and I start to fill up, though, I'm gonna, like, nibble.
I will do that.
I'll nibble the edge of the crust, though.
I will do that
Oh, yeah,
because they
too.
get
I'll
harder
do that.
faster.
Yeah. What's your favorite sandwich, Raquel?
My favorite sandwich.
What are you putting on your bread?
So if I get, like, say I get a sandwich from, like, Jersey Mike's.
Other sandwich restaurants are available.
I love Jersey Mike's, so, others are not available. Anyways, but I like to get turkey and roast beef on my sandwich.
Nice.
I don't get any cheese and I don't get any mayonnaise. I never have cheese or
You don't
mayonnaise
like
on
cheese.
my sandwiches. I don't. I can eat cheddar cheese, so if it's a cheddar sliced cheese, I can usually deal with it. I really hate American.
Anna's face palming over here. The both of us are having an affair with cheese, and it's really ruining my life over here now.
I mean, like, if I can get a sandwich with some nice honey smoked ham and some apple slices on there and maple bacon with a brie cheese and a little bit of a sharp cheddar, that's my sandwich. That's what I'm going to. Maybe
That's
a little
pretty
bit of
good.
spinach and arugula. I
That's
love
pretty good.
arugula.
See, she's super extra over here. For me, I'm just a classic. I'll do a turkey, I'll do Swiss, and I'll put some spinach on it, and I'll use the mayo and the mustard, and I'll
Oh,
usually put
yeah.
it on wheat bread with a bunch of grain.
Garlic aioli has to be on that sandwich. And my sandwich is going to be about $15 without a side.
Oh man, I'm eating on a budget here. That's my when I like want to save money, I'll get a thing of bread and I'll take it to the office and I'll eat all week on like $15.
No,
That's
I
a
do
really good
bologna
way.
all day, every day. If that's
Nope.
my budget.
Mhm.
Can't
I'll
touch
do some
bologna.
bologna with some Kraft cheese. I love Kraft cheese. I love food, but Kraft cheese is my thing.
Nope,
I just
can't
don't know what I
touch
can do. I
that.
can't shake it.
No.
Can't touch that plastic.
No.
It's gotta be the good Sargento kind of Swiss.
I love that
I've
crap.
tried grilled cheese with Kraft, and I just can't. It's just, ugh,
No,
I
monster
can't
That
for
do
was
me.
it.
so good. You do a little Kraft and some brie. I swear.
Mm.
I'm probably just, making myself look really bad, but I love Kraft.
I always try and throw some vegetables on there too.
Sponsor me, Kraft.
Well, I just called them plastic a minute ago. We're not getting that sponsorship.
I eat Kraft's mac and cheese, but that's about it.
I do
don't-
eat Kraft mac and cheese, and it is delicious. I do have some in
It
there.
tastes completely
But the little
different
American
from their
singles,
slice.
that's not my style.
After I made mac and cheese, you don't want to go back to Kraft.
I have some in the. I could eat it. I could eat it too. I can go to the Rookery, but I can still get a Big Mac. It's different. Different enjoyment, you know?
Yeah, I see.
Now, when it comes to like sub sandwiches, I see that as like a super sandwich. And for me, that's probably going to be a. What did we have the other day? The Philly
Extra
cheesesteak?
cheese?
No, the Philly cheesesteak from Firehouse. That's pretty good too.
I'm just a cheese person. Anything, a sandwich, pasta, whatever, if it has extra cheese, I'm going for it because I love the cheese.
There are like 4 different restaurants that we order from that she gets cheese dip at. And like one's like a seafood restaurant.
Oh, it's so amazing. It has like crab meat in it and lobster meat, and it's delicious.
Oh, I don't like seafood, really.
Oh, that's like Raquel's like worst meal right
This
there.
is like Raquel repellent.
It's gonna be awful in Japan because I'm gonna have to learn to
Oh,
like
yes. Oh, man, I'm going to enjoy myself so much, and you're just be like, it's so much seafood.
I can eat raw tuna. That's about the extent of seafood I can
And
eat.
can do raw tuna.
that's close to like the steak of seafood. I would have to say the real steak of seafood would be a swordfish. That's
Oh,
like
yeah?
a real big
I've never
steak
had
of
a tri-
seafood. It's delicious, it's wonderful, easy to cook, and it has that thick meatiness where it's just like a real beef patty. It's good.
I've tried salmon multiple times, and I can't do salmon. It's very unfortunate. and I'm Native American, and my family's always like, Raquel, you're Native American. This is like our go-to food is salmon. How do you not like it? I'm like, well,
Some people don't like it because it's a little bit too buttery. Instead of actually being like a meat taste, when you bite down into it, the texture is different. It's more creamy, and then, like the flavor is buttery.
Creepy. Yeah,
than it would be with like a tuna.
I've never thought about that, but yeah, it is. It does kind of like when you get a big like piece of what's the nigiri or sashimi? No, sashimi. I'm thinking of when you get like that. Yeah, it is very
Sashimi
buttery.
is just the fish,
That's
and
like
the
a fish
nigiri
steak.
is the fish on top of the rice
Yeah.
with the seaweed wrapping.
Yeah, I have to get, was it nigiri or something like that, which is the fish and the rice, but not the seaweed. Because I don't like the seaweed.
You don't like the seaweed?
I can't do the seaweed at all.
The seaweed actually holds so much of the fishiness. As soon as it touches the fish, like it just immediately is like kind of fishy seaweed. But I do like when I go to the store and I get the seaweed papers, and I'm able, like when I was a little girl, I used to like buy them. My mom would buy them like they were chips or something, and I would just eat on the seaweed papers.
I can't do, I think that's what gets me too, is like the fish. I can't taste, like I don't like the fishy taste to
I don't
it.
like the fishy taste either. It has to be fresh.
Yeah, I don't mind some fishy taste. It depends. Man, I've pulled up a picture of like nigiri and sashimi,
It's delicious.
and I want this piece of white fish right
But
there.
nobody can eat those
Ugh.
big. Have you ever seen on any seafood platter or is it the ship or whatever? It has those big red fish eggs instead of the tiny orange fish eggs. I love the tiny orange fish eggs. I love
The
eating
Masago.
them. They don't have a fishy taste and they pop in your mouth. It's really fun. Those big ones are like fish oil.
Okay, I'll have to try the little other one then, because I bet we'll find some
Don't
in
eat the big
Japan.
ones. I'm telling you right now, don't eat those big ones unless you love fish.
I'm gonna be like, okay, is this the one, Deanna? When we're in Japan, I'm gonna be like, is this the one? Okay, I want to try this
The
one.
roe.
Tiny, yeah, they're the roe.
Fish roe.
It's a fish roe.
So roe is like
They are good.
Well, roe is an umbrella term for all of them, but the
Tiny,
Masago
bright
are the good
orange
ones that I
ones.
like, and I think they're the cheaper ones. They're like
They
the little
are the
balls.
cheaper ones, which makes no sense because
Yeah,
I think they
weird.
taste
I
more
think it's-
delicious. But I never had black caviar before.
I think it's from like it's from flying fish versus the other ones from something else, or I might have it backwards.
I mean, has anybody had any of the black caviar before?
No, I haven't.
Nope.
Raquel doesn't even like seafood
People
at all. This is
love
all
it.
going in one ear and out the other.
People
I'm like,
love
oh my
it.
god. Oh, I know they do.
I'm wondering, what is it all about? How good could this be? Because I've tried those big red ones and it was awful. And I love food. The only
Yeah.
thing I don't like
Caviar
about
is like
food
super
is beets
expensive.
and
Beets.
sweet potatoes.
Only my grandmother likes beets.
Oh, I like sweet
She's the only
potatoes.
person in the world.
Everybody loves sweet potatoes, especially sweet potato fries. But I just don't like sweet potatoes.
Oh, I don't like sweet potato fries.
I'm indifferent.
You don't like them?
I'm like very picky. Like I love my sweets, but at the same time, I don't like my food that's not usually sweet. I don't like it to be sweet. So I like my potato fries, but I don't like sweet potato fries. I like bread, but I don't like Hawaiian bread.
I don't like Hawaiian bread unless it's with pork.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'd make is this pulled pork dish that I put on Hawaiian rolls, and the sweetness goes with it perfectly.
My bread should not be sweet unless it's cake.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is barbecue. I don't like my barbecue sweet. I like it with a vinegar base.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah.
I like that and a little bit spicy. Sometimes I like my barbecue if it's going to be sweet with a little bit of kimchi. And that's a little twist that people are doing onto it now. And it's delicious. Especially if you do barbecue pulled pork mac and cheese with a little bit of kimchi on side. So good.
Yeah, I'm a baby with spicy. I can't do spicy.
Oh, we've been getting into spicy over here. We get these.
I'm a spice monster.
I used to be more mild. I used to say, oh, I don't want my food too hot for me to taste. But I never realized that once you build up a tolerance and you start with jalapenos, and then eventually they're not so spicy anymore, and you move on to habanero or whatever. And once you get into the spicier stuff and you get to taste the complexities, it's pretty good. I'm really
And-
starting to enjoy that sort of stuff.
I'm pretty sure it was like 2 episodes ago you said something different about having food too spicy.
Which one? Well, it can't be
It
too
was like
spicy.
2 episodes ago.
Well, it can be too spicy.
I have been putting cayenne pepper on a lot of our food
Everything. She
nowadays.
just puts it on
Pretty much on everything. I put it on our eggs. I put it on our corn. I put cayenne pepper on everything. I love the spice. I love building the tolerance for it. And I think sometimes like it catches them off guard because like I'm just trying to have a normal breakfast and it's like super spicy. But I think it's delicious.
I don't know if you guys have it. I've never actually seen it in Georgia, at least. But here, they put something called tahine on everything, basically. Especially fruits.
Joelle likes it.
Okay.
It's a Mexican kind of candy. It's like
no,
a powder.
it's not.
It's like a red powder. Wait, tahine?
I don't like candy.
Tahine, it's not Mexican candy.
But like a spicy candy?
It's a seasoning.
It's like, I'll show you a
put
picture.
it on fruit
You've seen
usually.
It it's this
Oh,
stuff.
that's really good on mango.
Yeah.
Alright, so if you
It's
get a
got, like,
mango
lime.
and you shove it down on a stick and you peel it all the way around and you put, what is it, vinegar or something around it? You put hot, what I know, you put hot sauce around it and then you sprinkle the seasoning on it
Mhm.
and it's just delicious.
That's
It's so
probably
wonderful.
tahine. If it's like a reddish seasoning, that's tahine.
It goes really well on fruit.
But I think a lot of it is like, it's chili peppers, salt, dehydrated lime juice, and silicon dioxide. Okay, I thought it had a lot of sugar in it, but apparently it doesn't.
It's spice.
I'm thinking of
Yeah,
something
that's
else.
why I don't like it.
Okay.
It's just spice and lime, and it's really great on fruit. If you want like a diffuser, when you know how like some people get
Very
those
light.
vanilla milkshakes and whatever, and they dip their fries in a frosty.
Mhm.
Yeah, frosty.
This is like the Mexican version of
Chocolate frosty,
getting
though.
something really sweet and getting something that diffuses it. You get a spice.
Yeah.
It's really good if you like spices.
There's an article over here that says, what is tahine seasoning and why you should be using it.
Because you
Well,
should.
you should be good. They also put it on, my family also puts it on cucumbers, too. They put it on everything. Any type of fruit or vegetable. Okay, let's do another topic. Another thing that made me choose to do food this time, because the bread thing made me think to come back to it at some point.
Mhm.
What made me choose it this week was me and my coworker, we were talking about food being left over and being warmed up. And I had gotten French toast and I didn't finish all of it. And I was like, well, I guess I'll just eat the rest at lunch. And I was like, but then it doesn't taste as good warmed up. And it got me thinking, like, is there any food that really is good, well, not good, but like better warmed up than it is when it's fresh?
The way Anna is squirming makes me think she wants to answer this question. Why don't you go ahead?
Yes.
And
Lots
if
of
your
food.
answer is pizza,
Is okay.
that's the only thing I could think of.
If you do like a shepherd's pie,
Yeah.
most of the ingredients, like if you bake it and then put it in the refrigerator, the ingredients are able to soak more into themselves without getting too overpowering because they're freezing a little bit,
Oh.
Your
but they still
Tuscan
soak.
soup.
Oh yeah,
Tuscan
in the
soup.
Tuscan soup, you
She's
get more
got
of the
this.
flavoring inside of the kale. All the ingredients that are in
Oh.
that broth go inside of that leaf and makes the leaf actually more
Okay.
leafier. When you bite it, it's a little bit more crunchy. And so leaving foods out actually is a better thing to do. And a lot of people, I'm actually really, really bad about it. And a lot of people think I'm gross because of it. Because
Oh, yeah.
I can leave something out overnight. And as long as I know that bugs aren't getting into it, I will eat it the next
Nope.
day.
No thanks.
And most people will not. So
I
I'm
won't
kind of
even
gross.
use a breadcrumb plate that's been left overnight. I'll put that in the sink and get a new plate.
I hate waste, so I'm against plastic waste and all this stuff. Like, I'll wash plates and I'll do these things. Like, I'm not a gross person, but like, if the food is left over in a sealed, contained box and it's something that's not fish, it's something that can withstand
Yeah.
going over the night, I'm like,
Mhm.
I will still put this in there and I'll heat it up and I might eat it. I don't know.
If
If I feel sick, I'll let you know, but I haven't felt sick yet.
If you're responsible, you just put it in the fridge.
Most of the time, that's what we kind of do. But if, the case was different.
If you forget, the doctor's
Yeah.
gonna toss it out.
It's funny that you mentioned French toast not being good, because I like French toast. It's probably my favorite breakfast. And I get it from Steak and Shake. Not Steak and Shake. I get
hate
it from
it.
Cracker Barrel a lot. And for me, I'll usually eat half of it, and then I do microwave the half of it later. And for me, it works pretty well, like, after one day, because it soaks the syrup in, and that kind of, like, boils the inside of it. It works very nicely.
I literally think things that sit overnight are in the fridge. Don't be like me and eat things that are not in the fridge. But, like, I think things that soak overnight because I cook a lot, and I notice on my meals the next day, it's always better because the ingredients are able to absorb themselves without taking over too much power, like taking away from the crunchiness. I mean, when you
depends,
cook
though.
something, it takes away from the crunchiness. Or, being too much overpowering ingredient. It always seems to just settle themselves right there where it is in the fridge, and it's perfect. When you heat it up, it just mixes very well.
Not everything, though.
Makes a gravy sometimes, too.
McDonald's.
It's very good. McDonald's?
No.
Well, you gotta throw those fries right back in the fryer.
See, okay, so, and that's the thing too, is, one of my other topics, which would be like microwave versus oven. Because for me, a lot of stuff, like, just doesn't taste as good in the microwave versus the oven, because they just get soggy.
Which one?
Microwave versus oven. A lot of stuff that goes in the microwave instead of the oven will get soggy.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just not that great.
The food that starts with a P that we're not going to talk about again is much better in an oven. And I
My
won't eat it
family
cold.
actually
She will.
fries it.
That's the P.
Pizza. We talked about pizza last episode.
We talked about pizza for like 30 minutes.
I will do pizza in the oven. If it's a thick crust, it can go in the microwave. If it's a thin crust, it has to go
Gotta go
in the oven. I
Because
mean,
the microwave will not
then
crisp
what do you
stuff.
have? You have like a little piece of paper with some sauce on
It's
there. It's not
soggy.
good.
And honestly, I feel like there's a point, there's like a level 1 bachelor will do a microwave on everything. Level 2 is like, oh, I know how to use a toaster. Level 3 is like, okay, I can use an oven and I'm going to use my oven. And so for me, because I'm a grown man, I'm going to use my oven where I can.
So, let's do a couple of don't you knows.
Oh
I
yeah.
have some here.
That's kind of the name of the show, isn't it?
Yeah! Okay, so, one of my don't you knows is, I was thinking it'd be a don't you know, but it was going to be a discussion first, and then decide if it's a don't you know. Which is, when girls like food, they kind of dance in their seat when they eat.
My goodness, that's what I do.
And that's what I do too.
Okay, that's a
I've seen
normal-
memes about it. I never noticed it until the meme.
I mean, that's a
I've
normal
never seen a
thing.
guy do it.
I
I've
haven't
only
seen
seen
a
girls
guy.
do it.
I caught myself doing it the other day. I was kind of like shaking my
They
shoulders.
never
It was
show it
something
though.
really good.
You know how they are. Guys don't want to show it, but girls just immediately like, if I'm happy, I'm gonna show
I'm like,
you. Man, this is wonderful. Why aren't you dancing?
I will say a lot. I go like
Yeah, you're
Mm.
very ummer. That's
Sometimes I'll
always
do it like
fun.
5 times in a row and I can't even help myself.
So we're in agreement though. So don't you know, girls will dance in their seat if they like the food.
Love the food.
Okay, so let's see. One thing I had a don't you know, but I want to do this discussion real quick, and it's like a really quick one. So when you're sharing food,
Nope.
when
Joey doesn't share
nope,
food.
okay, done.
I share
Are
food.
you asking to share? Like, we're not gonna say like super super close people, because like with you and your girlfriend, you guys probably were like, oh, let's share. But I'm talking about like maybe not close friends. Are you asking if they will share your food, or do you have to wait for them to say?
To be
you wanna
honest,
try?
if it's with close friends, they only ask for a fry or so. When
Yeah,
it's with
a taste.
a significant other, they ask for more food. And so you know that you have to buy more food because this person is going to ask for more, even if they say they're not hungry. They're going to see you eat it, and they want to eat it too, just like a child.
I'm not like
So order
that.
more food.
I know what I want, and usually like if
Just
I want
order
some,
more food. Yeah, I know what he wants. Order more food.
I've never got stuff off your plate like that. We'll plan stuff out and do like 2 appetizers.
Sharing plates, that's one other thing. That's like with both, significant others are hungry and they look at these plates and they say, well, I want a salad or I want
Then I would get a
appetizer,
salad.
but I want to share this plate. But we're both really hungry and we make an agreement.
Oh yeah.
But when, there's always this point where you're ordering food because you're hungry and your significant other is not hungry. But when they see you eating food, they want that food. And then they take a little bit more than they expected they would take. And that always happens.
I don't do
So
that.
order more food.
And you don't do that. And
Yes, I
that's
do.
why- No, you're not.
Yes, I do.
I've been
You
with
just
other
don't know
people
because
that
they
are
own
like
your
that.
food. And I say it's
Just
gone.
Take your food just as a power play, and that drives me crazy.
I'm talking more along the lines though of saying you've gone out with, like, not out like a date, but like you've just out with like a friend or whatever,
Going out with the guys.
and you all got different food. Everyone's eating. And you see someone has really good food. Are you asking them to share with you or for you to have some? Or you have to wait for them to like, hey, yeah, you're welcome to try a bite?
I would ask, and I would say, hey, if you give me a little piece of yours, I'll give you a little piece of mine. But if I looked at their plate and it was, not interesting to me at all, and I just really was into my plate, I would hate for somebody to ask me that question because I would not be willing to share.
I would try. Usually, if I've got something and I'm at like a group outing or something, and I'll try it. I like order appetizers for the table or something, or I'll order myself a large fry and be like, hey, anyone who wants fries, go for it. But I have done before where like Joelle or something will have different fries. And like, hey, I'll trade you curly fry for a steak fry. I would never trade anything for a steak fry. Those are the worst fry.
Yeah,
Quarter fry like a regular fry or whatever. I would do that. But I'm not just going to ask for a bite unless it's her.
And then, of course, if you do ask, you always wait until they try. Don't you know, you always wait until they at least try their food first.
Oh, yeah, of course. Never ask for the first bite. That's crazy talk.
Well, only if they ask for your bite before they even try their own. Then you're like, oh, well, we're playing a different game here.
So, and another don't you know, which is when you're asking someone to try their food, don't you know, we're taking like a normal sized bite. We're not unlocking the jaw and taking as big of a bite as possible.
It's not about the bite, it's about the ingredients inside that bite. Everybody has to have the same bite. So if you have a meal that has a little bit of apple, a little bit of nut, a little bit of this over there, you want to grab each little piece if they're actually going to take a bite and you actually care about the other person. You want them to really experience that bite. Or if you have someone that's like, hey, can I take a bite? And you're like, yeah, get this over here. Where it's just the greens that has nothing good on it.
There's some extra lettuce.
Here, take this.
I think there's a bit of onion on it.
Not good. I love onion though. So I'll be like, this is amazing.
I've got something for you. This is something we would talk about back in like school. So imagine like you're like, hey, can I get a sip of that Gatorade? And then they hand you their other power drinks are available. And then you take it and you just pour it, your sip, on the ground. Mm-hmm. Are they allowed to get mad at you?
Wait, what?
So let's say I say, hey, Raquel, I'm really thirsty. Can I have a sip of your drink? And you say, yeah, sure. And I just pour a little bit on the ground. Would you be mad at me?
Okay, so I've never, have heard of anyone ever doing this.
No, because it's a sociopathic thing to do. But
so I would be pretty bad.
But it's the same. Why does it matter if I swallowed it or if I went on the ground? You shouldn't care. You gave me a sip.
Because I could have drank it. I gave you some because I thought you were thirsty.
I wanted to pour it on the ground.
Well, you didn't.
I would never share with that person again if they did that to me.
No. I'd be like, are you actually thirsty? Just go pour it onto the ground. Because I could be drinking
fair,
that sip.
If they said, I'm thirsty, may I have a sip? That's a lie. If they just say, may I have a sip?
Anyway, okay.
That's dumb.
Anyways.
Nobody would do that.
Okay, I have 2 discussions. One of them is going to be longer, so I'll save that one for last.
All right, 2 discussions.
So let's do this one. This one's kind of a quick one. Syrup on waffles.
Yeah, it's fine by me. I like to drizzle it. I'll make it go kind of at an angle. So you have like I'll make my waffle lines go like north-south, and then I'll do kind of a northeast to a southwest drizzle across the whole thing and watch them kind of like seep in differently. I like that.
Okay, I saw this one post about someone saying this, but I do it anyways. I like to try to feel syrup in all the little holes, all the little
all
dips.
That's way too much syrup.
I have that same feeling.
Okay, so I saw someone post something and they were like, you're not little kids. Not every single hole in that sink needs to have syrup in it. But that's how I eat waffles. I like to have syrup in every little hole.
Nah, that doesn't bug me. One of my favorite ways... Okay, so here's something I got. That's kind of a weird quirk. When I eat waffles and when I eat French toast, I probably talked about this in the last episode, I like to cut a strip of my French toast and roll it up like a little cinnamon roll and get all the syrup. I probably did mention it. I love that. And with my waffles, I like to cut like the quarters out and stack them and make like a big old Decker bite.
But that's not too much different from how I serve myself waffles or pancakes. I normally go for pancakes because waffles...
you stick 4 waffles on top of each other and... No, she doesn't do that.
I don't do that at all. I don't like waffles because of the cups. Even though, I've heard this thing where, a woman's brain's more like a pancake and their mind's more spread out and they're kind of sporadic, and then a guy's brain's like a waffle. They're in, little holes and stuff, files. They can get to it. Anyway,
yeah, we can hold way much more syrup.
I love pancakes either way. I'd rather someone just told me that. But I like pancakes, and only because I can wrap them up like a little burrito, and I can have some half-made eggs, sunny-side up eggs with bacon and some hash browns and some cheese, and I can roll that pancake up and then put a little syrup on there with some bacon. And that's good for me. I do not like pancakes by themselves. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I do not like them by themselves. I need that salty sweet. So I want to roll them up in a little pancake burrito and eat it like that.
So you're about to make a really face at me. I don't know what type of face it's going to be. It's not going to be a pleasant face.
I'll try and describe it.
I don't like sausage. I don't like bacon. I don't like egg.
She's looked up at the sky and has done the bruh
I did the bra face. I was
with
like,
her-
bacon!
with her hands. She did that.
I mean, sausage I can get past, but the bacon. I mean, like, if
I
bacon's
grew up
by
on
itself,
turkey bacon.
You know the
turkey bacon's good. Turkey bacon is good.
I love turkey
I do
bacon.
love turkey bacon.
and turkey sausage too.
Substitutes are not bad. People really hate substitutes, and they're not horrible.
People
they just
hate
put
turkey bacon. I
a
don't know why.
bad name on certain foods, and that's not a really good thing to do. Like, because you can go past, like, if we can go, I've seen so many trucks go past because I live, like, pretty much in the country. I've seen so many semis go past with, like, the chickens sitting in the back of the truckers, and they're just no water. They're out of breath. It's so hot. They're missing feathers and stuff. And this is what we eat. We're torturing these animals and we're about to eat them. When my mom and we raise our own chickens, and pretty much chickens can eat anything. They'll literally eat their own. They're crazy. They're just like wild pigs. And they're full breasted and they're big and they're happy,
They are
you know.
egg chickens though.
They're making some beautiful eggs. Easter
Well,
eggs, what we call them, because they do blue eggs, green eggs, olive eggs. You know, any spectrum. We got those eggs. And like, the eggs are more tasteful. They're fuller. Like, when you make scrambled eggs, they're heavy. And then when you cook the breast, it's actually lighter. So, like, anytime you add oil or butter, like, the breast is lighter because it's got more meat in it. It's just, I don't know. It's something about that farm freshness that is always better.
You do taste it in the eggs too. The shells are thicker. My mom was just saying this.
Trying to crack the eggs just to get the yolk in there. The eggs are harder to crack because the shells are thicker. There's more calcium.
You drop them on the ground, you just pick them up.
Yeah, you can put it in a dog's mouth. They won't be able to crack it. It's delicious. It's wonderful. And my mom has been actually growing this kale, and it has been so delicious. I literally just broke it from her garden and started eating on it, and I could not stop eating it like it was a bag of potato chips. It was so delicious. And I've tried kale from the stores. It's bitter and dry. It's like, ew, how could you use this to cook with? Because it's gross, but hers is delicious. I could not believe it.
She had this celery that tasted like a spice.
It was spicy. The celery was spicy, like if you were biting into a radish. That's how fresh it was.
Yeah, my aunt always tells me stories about she was a kid and my dad was a kid. I guess my grandparents used to have a garden in the backyard of where they used to live, and basically that's where they ate from. They got all their vegetables from the garden.
Speaking of garden, we just planted some seeds. We had a bunch of seeds and we
Oh.
put them in some egg cartons, just full circle going back to eggs. We've sprouted some Brussels sprouts and, what was the other flower? Snapdragons?
Snapdragons, forget-me-nots.
Forget-me-nots haven't sprouted, have they?
The forget-me-nots have not sprouted yet. No.
The jalapenos planted.
Jalapenos. I don't know how to say jalapenos.
Jalapenos.
And also some onions. We got some onions
Yeah.
going. And I'm also trying to get some of my money plant going. I've snipped some of the branches off to try to grow some of the money plant.
That's not food.
That's not food, but I'm trying to do it.
You can eat it.
So, well, speaking of breakfast, okay, so we have pancakes, French toast, and waffles. What is your favorite out of those three?
German breakfast.
French toast, easy. 9 times out of 10. Like, well, to be fair, if we're going to a lot of restaurants can't do French toast like I like, so I'll get something else. Like, if we go to IHOP, I'm gonna get pancakes because I don't like their French toast as much. At Cracker Barrel, they got the best French toast ever. You didn't get sick last time we went to Cracker Barrel.
I'm gonna have to say my best breakfast is always, it goes back to my heritage a little bit of a German breakfast, where we have, and a little bit of Irish breakfast, where we have a little bit of potatoes. German breakfast has, the smoked salmon on a bagel with capers on there with a white
thought they were
onion, and
salty.
it's salty, bitter, yeah. But we put I can't tell the difference because I eat so much hot stuff. But yeah, I put a little onion on there, and it's delicious. And then, like, because I'm a little bit Irish, we also love our corned beef hash. Corned beef hash is our main go-to, and with scrambled eggs on the side, if not scrambled sunny side up.
That's what my aunt likes, the corned beef hash. I like the roast beef hash that's in the can.
Sounds really nice, but
Well, it
that
has
wasn't
a
one of
both.
your 3 answers.
That's the both, though. They have the corned beef hash and they have the roast beef hash. That's awesome. Both of them are in cans, and they're both really delicious. I am not knocking them. They're both wonderful.
Imagine
a lot of people don't like it.
Imagine
but
you go
it's
to
so
visit
good.
Raquel's house and she's like, I'm making breakfast. Do you want this, this, or this? And you're like, actually, I want some smoked salmon and bagels.
I won't be that needy. No. I take what I get, and I love what I'm given. And I think that corned beef hash, whatever you're having, I'll take it.
No, I don't usually, like, if anything, I would probably make chorizo and potatoes.
Yes, I love potatoes.
Have you chorizo?
Chorizo's
Yes, I love chorizo, and I love potatoes. Jacob doesn't really care for potatoes like I
Yeah.
do. I can eat potatoes
I
any sort
like
of way.
French
I
fries.
would never hate them.
But potatoes are filler for me. I'm
I
going to
love
eat the
them.
entree, and then if I'm still hungry, I'm going to eat the mashed potatoes.
I go straight for the
They're
potatoes.
My dad makes the chorizo with eggs. He makes it scrambled eggs and chorizo, but I don't really like eggs. So usually when I make it, I make chorizo and potato. And put that on tortilla.
I love potatoes, though. I am a potato person.
Oh, I love potatoes. I love potatoes and I love bread. And that's why I've gained so
Yes.
much weight over the quarantine.
And I'm not even worried about it. Like, I look at myself and I think, what would you want to do? Do you want to be happy? Or do you want to eat your foods and
No.
be happy? And I'm like,
Carbohydrates.
I'll be double happy.
Carbohydrates are very good for runners.
And to be honest, I've read somewhere that your body actually craves carbs because we actually produce enough protein where we don't have to intake protein, but we have to produce the carbs to make enough energy to
It
burn
depends on
that
what you're doing.
protein.
It depends on what you're doing. If you're trying to put on 50 pounds of muscle because you want to get swole,
Nobody's
you
trying
cannot
to do
mix
that,
it.
but
I was trying to do
wrestlers.
that. Everybody's trying. A lot of people are trying to do
Okay,
that.
no. Jacob's lying. He wasn't trying to put on 50 pounds,
50
of
pounds.
muscle. He was trying
My
to
goal
put
was
on
10
5
pounds of
pounds of muscle.
It was I was trying to go from 130 to 140, and I
and
got
so
to
he gets to the extreme.
I was doing a lot of research, and I was finding out all sorts of life forms and things, and I found a 5-day split, and I went from 130 to 140 in about 6 months of going to the gym 5 days a week with a plan. And I did it, and I was losing like belly fat while I was doing it, and I had to eat protein shakes every morning. And I was working out 5 days a week for between 30 minutes to an hour, depending on which routine it was. And yeah, I gained 10 pounds of muscle, and it was probably more than 10 pounds of muscle. But I had to eat protein because when I was working out in the past, I do not make that much protein. I need to force protein into my body.
But that's the difference. A lot of people are trying to cut out carbs when they're not working
To lose
out
weight.
and eating protein.
Yeah, but they
And that's
should
the
be working out.
Worst
though.
thing that they can do.
Yeah, to
A
not
lot
work out.
of people do not understand that, and that's the worst thing they can do is try to eat protein. That's all they do is like salads and protein. It's like if I get a salad and I get a little bit of protein, my diet's on point. No,
I think it depends on the people, too.
carbs.
Because, like, my aunt and them, that's what they do. They do the keto diet. And the keto diet doesn't work for me. And, yeah, I think a lot of it depends on the people, too. Like, for me, when I did the keto diet, I wasn't really losing any weight. Because a lot of what the keto diet does is it replaces a lot of the carbs with, like, fats and stuff like that. And so it was a lot of calories. Like, they use sour cream to replace a lot of stuff, or cream cheese. And
Yes,
it just has so much calories.
that's the
Yeah.
worst
It
thing you
didn't
do.
work.
Because to replace sour cream actually is to use yogurt, whole fat yogurt, and only use it when you need to.
Yum.
You don't want to use any low fats. You just want to go straight to the source. So whole fat yogurt. So one of those good name brands that has that thick yogurt where you don't have to strain it. It just makes that thick custard looking, it's shapely when you cut it up and stuff, that's what you need to use.
I love yogurt.
I love yogurt. And that's really, it's really hard for people to understand. Like, people act like they really hate yogurt. And it is acquired taste. But if you think about it this way, you're taking out your sour cream and putting that yogurt there. It doesn't taste much different. Actually, the yogurt now tastes better with all of your meals because it's thicker.
See, I love sour cream. It's
Yeah.
like my
You
weakness.
love whole yogurt replacement. You would love it.
No,
And it's
I like
better
my
for
sour
you.
cream.
It's
I know,
better
but
for
I like
you.
my
You're
sour
gonna
cream.
love it. I promise. I promise.
I love my sour cream.
I didn't think I
just
could.
don't think I could. I just don't think I could put strawberry yogurt on a taco like I could sour cream.
I didn't think I could too. I really was
I'm
like, I
joking. You're
really
not
didn't
supposed
like
to use the
it.
strawberry yogurt, I imagine.
Oh, no, I didn't even think about that. I'm sorry. Don't use strawberry yogurt. That's gross.
let's go ahead, and it's getting a little bit longer, so let's do our last discussion, because I know it's going to take longer to discuss this part, and end out.
Longer than these other ones. We're in for a big story.
Oh yeah, because this topic is about wings.
Oh, it's about wings. Okay.
So, I guess there are two big discussions when it comes down to wings. Let's go ahead and do the first one, which is bone versus boneless.
I'm not against boneless, but if I'm getting wings, I'm going to have bone in. That's part of the experience.
Boneless are nice with an appetizer if you have a dipping sauce, but bones in, if you get flats, it's pretty awesome. Flats are amazing to me.
So for me, I prefer bone in, but if I'm like out in like public or whatever, and because bone in is so messy,
It is messy.
so I like the boneless when I'm like if I have to go back to work or something, and I just don't want to make a mess.
I've
and
gotten
be boneless.
pretty good because I started going to Zaxby's. Other chicken places are available. Between it's a reference to
There
the
you go.
BBC. They always do that. I think it's a legal thing. Anyway, I would go to Zaxby's on lunch often. Oh, I'm sad. The guy that I used to go with moved out of state, so I don't get to do that anymore. Rip Patrick. He's not dead. He's just moved. Anyway,
Dang.
reside in peace in Indianapolis. Anyway, we would go to Zaxby's, and I got really good at I would use my left hand and a fork, which fork is kind of, people go, oh, you use a fork. I would use it, and I got pretty good at, like, separating the bone and being able to get one, like, really only 2 fingers dirty. And I was pretty surgical. And then you wash that hand.
If you're going on a date, it's best to do boneless. You can just grab whatever flavor bone, cut it up in little
could be
pieces,
etiquette,
No.
dip it, you know.
She might
But
judge
if
you, though.
No,
She might go, "You got
that
bone?"
would be what the girl would do. And if the guy is eating on that bone, the girl might follow suit and just eat how she wants to. But if you're on a date, I would say boneless. You're going to cut it up in pieces
You're
and
supposed
dip
to
it
test
into the
them.
ranch. It'll be good. But if you know this person is not a date, I mean, just get what you want. I love flats. A lot of people say that I'm a psychopath that likes to have my life harder because I like to eat flats, but they don't realize that you can really get some good stuff in between those little cartilage pieces. And that's the thing.
That's actually my next part of this, the wings, which is drums versus flats.
Flats all the way.
I believe that variety is the spice of life, and I
Right,
like to go
right,
back
right.
and forth, but you see, I'm dating somebody who's a psychopath, as she calls herself, and so she gives me all the drumsticks, and they're pretty
He
good
gets
too.
more meat actually because they always make more drumsticks than
Yeah,
they
but
do
you know that
flats, and
whole
I'm
thing-
like, I want more flats.
Yeah, but you know that thing you were just talking about, how the flats are
But you
better?
get more sauce on the flats. To be honest, you get
Yeah,
more
you can.
sauce put on the flats because it's more even than it is the drumsticks. You have
Yeah,
more
it's-
meat
it's
in the drumsticks
better
on
and
the
you
end
take 'em all.
pieces, and you don't get that sauce. And I want that sauce. That's why I got these things. Or I could just
I'm
order
like
chicken.
the same way. Like, I don't get like more sauce onto the drums. I just eat them. But when it's the flat, I'm like dipping it in there. And they're like my favorite. When I really love the sauce, the flats are one of my favorite.
Exactly.
They're both pretty good.
Mine just depends. Sometimes I really like the drums more. Because it just really depends on where I'm eating and my mood. Because sometimes some places, they have like a lot of like fat or like the skin.
Yeah, I don't like a lot of skin at all, or the little stringy bits that are like the vein. That's kind of gross.
I don't
like
mind
it.
the stringy bits.
I don't
But
like
my
it.
mom, whenever she orders wings, she always orders wings extra saucy and extra crispy. And people always say, well, how am I supposed to get extra saucy and crispy?
Yeah, because like if it's super like if the place I order from has a lot of skin on it, usually I like the drums more than the flats because for some reason they tend to have more skin on it. I don't know.
Huh.
They do, like some restaurants actually they charge you more if you're picky about which one you want. Like if you only want
Oh,
flats
yeah.
or if you only want
No,
drums.
we never asked for one or the other. We just sorted out.
If I order it online, I don't know if it's Uber Eats or Grubhub. I don't know which one, but one of them says, do you want flats only or do you want drums only? And I love that because I don't care what Jacob wants. I'm getting flats only.
Can I get that audio clip? I don't care what Jacob wants.
Yeah, save it for the rest of your life
Okay.
because that's always how it's going to be.
I'm gonna add
Alright.
it in every little point.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm single now, so you can write to us at Don't You Know Pod on Twitter.
He's so bad.
6'10s and up only, please. That's so mean. I'm just kidding. And that's so way out of my league anyway.
I think my grandma also gets extra crispy on her wings.
I don't want anything extra crispy. If I get something, I want it like right in the middle. I want the best of like both worlds, both sides, you know?
Actually, when I eat like fried chicken, not wings, but fried chicken, I take the skin off of it. I don't eat the outside of it.
Yeah. I don't really get fried chicken too much, though. It's way too much, and that's so calorific. I prefer a grilled chicken, or a grilled or a baked, I guess. It's a lot more health conscious, and honestly, I love the taste of baked chicken. I just think it's so good. I'm not big into fried.
So one of my favorite things, and I get it all the time here because I found a place that does wings and stuff, is buffalo fries. It's just like, buffalo fried chicken on top of fries with some ranch. It's so good. If you guys come out here, if you guys decide for Japan, you want to take a stop here first, and then the next day we all ride the same plane to Japan, I'm totally taking you to this buffalo wing place. It's so good because you can also get other flavors, not just buffalo. I know Randy likes to get garlic parmesan.
I was just about to ask, what is your flavor?
Hot, spicy garlic parmesan would be the best.
I think they have that option too.
I think that might be an option that I'm going to get.
They have like 6 different flavors. Sometimes I like to get the lemon pepper and the buffalo together.
That sounds good. That
Nice.
sounds good too.
But you don't like too much spicy. You go for the buffalo, eh?
So me, I usually, because they put ranch on it. Like,
Ah.
I usually have to have if I'm having buffalo, I usually also have to have ranch.
That
to
makes
kinda
Ranch is
cool it
pretty
down.
good for cutting down. Honestly, we get the mango habanero
But
and
that's
Asian
also-
zing.
That's also not saying that she hates spice. She
No, no,
likes
no.
spice, but she's cutting it down with
Yeah, yeah.
ranch. That means she likes spice.
Yeah,
you want
but-
some
I could
spice,
do buffalo.
but
That's
the
about
ranch-
it.
Yeah, that ranch
Buffalo is so good,
cools
though.
you down, and that's okay. That's okay to do.
That's what we do with the mango habanero because we get
we
that.
have to cover that in ranch. It's
We've noticed-
spicy.
We've noticed there seem to be 2 chefs, or there's probably more than 2, but different chefs. And one of the chefs will make, again, the cheese sauce that we get from the wings place.
That we think he's from a region where he loves really hot, spicy foods.
Yeah, we're like, he's probably
and the
their
other
Mexican
one is
chef
white.
in there. And the other guy's white. Because sometimes you get the cheese and it's not spicy, and other times you get it and it's so spicy. And the mango habanero is the same way.
I love the guy that's not from my region. I love that spicy stuff. I think he's
Yeah, the
a
spice is
phenomenal
way
cook.
better.
I love him.
So this restaurant also has the option for spicy ranch.
Oh, I don't know if I'd want that.
Yeah, because I ordered it, and then he asked if I wanted any extra sauce, and I was like, yeah, I can have another ranch. And like, do you want regular ranch or spicy ranch? So spicy ranch apparently is an option at this place. It's awesome. I really enjoy it. So if you guys come, that's what we'll have to take you to. But my favorite wings of all time are from Beef O'Brady's, which is in Georgia, and I'm so sad that they don't have any here.
Oh, darn. Beef Brady's is so good. I haven't been there in so long.
I have never heard of him.
It's Irish pub, sports bar kind of place.
I love that place. Yeah.
They're like family-oriented sports bar. It's not like a bar.
Yeah. We used to go there after like softball games and stuff like that. I wish there was something like that here. I haven't found one yet. Like a family sports bar.
There is a, if you go to Marietta, there is a sports bar type of thing that's called McCracken's. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it before, but from where I'm from and just from the Atlanta area and actually living outside the Atlanta area, there was this customer that he's a really old gentleman, and he was like, back in my day, I used to go to McCracken. So I was like, that used to be my bar I used to go to before I moved here a year ago. So this bar is still jumping, and people love it. McCracken's in Marietta is the bar to go to.
There's this Irish pub down in Sacramento that's we really love. We all got like food there. It was with my aunt and uncle and a couple other people, and because we had a conference down there, and we got there a night before the conference. So we went to the Irish pub to watch the Dodger game and to drink and all that stuff. And we all got food, and we ended up eating all of one person's food because they had fries, and it was so good. And then we all ordered fries, and we ate our own food too. But like someone ordered, I think, fries as an appetizer for all of us, and we ate it all, and we're like, oh my god. We all ended up getting an order of fries because it was just so good.
Nice.
I don't know. There was like a special kind of like, almost like potato kind of like, I think there was like potato wedges. There was either potato wedges or like steak fries with like some type of sauce or whatever. It was really good.
Mm-hmm. Nice. That sounds awesome.
So let's end out with this last question. Just answer only. It's not a discussion or anything like that. Which is comfort food. Go.
For me, it's Cheez-Its. If I'm sitting around and I'm like, it used to be Oreos, but they're so bad. I would eat a sleeve of Oreos with some milk and that's excessive. I had to put the Oreos down. So now it's Cheez-Its. I don't buy them that often, but I munch on them pretty hard.
Comfort food for me is any type of cheese dip. It doesn't matter if it's cheddar, Mexican, Chihuahua cheese, any cheese dip. Hummus. Actually, to be honest,
Hummus
any
is awesome.
dip. I love dips. I will dip into anything.
We were watching this interview on the Graham Norton show with Marilyn Manson, and somebody brought up hummus, and he was like, "What's hummus?" And they had to explain to him. And we were talking, we're like, somewhere Marilyn
Everybody
Manson
was like, what?
Yeah, somewhere Marilyn Manson was in his mansion or house or whatever he lives in. He's like, I'm going to try some of this hummus that everybody's talking about. And then I just imagine be like, this stuff's pretty good. Somewhere that happened. What about you?
Okay, well, real quick, cheese dips. Speaking of that, and you said it the first time too, and I'm like, oh, you make me really miss Moe's cheese dip.
Oh,
I miss
yeah.
it so much. There's no Moses over here.
Oh, you got
That's my
so many other
absolute
options, though.
Favorite.
I'm not huge into Moe's.
Nothing's like Moe's cheese. That's the only one I like. Okay, so my comfort food is I don't even know what my comfort food is. I guess like mac and cheese and potatoes, biscuits or something like KFC. Basically, I like that's my comfort food.
No, thank you.
Aw.
You like the soul food, huh?
Yep. Okay, I guess that's it. Let's go ahead and wrap it on up.
Yep, wrapping up.
Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed this special episode, and let us know your comfort food or any of these discussions. If you if you disagree with us, let us know. If you agree with us, let us know. You can send us a tweet at don'tyouknowpod, or you can send us an email at don'tyouknowpod@gmail.com. Please, share, like, follow, subscribe us. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. Thank you, Deanna, for joining us.
I mean, we're always we need a new topic each week. So if you got any ideas or any hobbies or stuff that you guys want us to talk about, we could do a themed episode. We'd love to hear from you.
And I am very grateful for you having me this week.
Thanks for being on board.
So thank you so much.
You've been a great
Surprise
special guest,
guys. Okay, and until next time, guys. See ya.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Because I don't hear what Jacob wants.